Hello, I am Jeffrey Bauer, and I'll be presenting on self-driving cars. Self-driving cars have been talked about for a long time. Car manufacturers have been slowly building up to the development of a fully self-driving car. However, car manufacturers today have some elements of self-driving cars in them. The first is cruise control. I'm sure we've all used cruise control at some point or another, especially on long trips. Cruise control allows drivers to take their foot off the pedal and maintain a certain speed while doing so. In newer cars, cruise control has the option to automatically slow down based on the speed and distance between you and the car in front of you. Park Assist is extremely beneficial in city areas. Park Assist can park your car for you. Many people have found this technology useful for parallel parking, especially in busy downtown areas. The Lane Assist warns a driver who is drifting out of their lane without using their signal. This can be useful. However, I have personally experienced some problems with this technology, especially in a construction zone. In some construction zones, I'm sure you know that the lines in the road haven't been fully removed, and the sensors will actually go off all the way down the road because they're detecting the other lines. Collision warning and/or brake assist is extremely useful in the event of a sudden stop or if a driver is not paying attention at a moment in which traffic conditions change. So Tesla was actually the first car manufacturer to implement an automated driving ability. Tesla's first generation cars have the ability for self-driving on highways. You don't have to steer, you don't have to do anything, you just have to pay attention. Tesla actually warns their drivers to continue to be alert and keep their hands on the wheels at all time. However, the car actually does drive for you. Cadillac has just announced that they will be implementing Super Cruise in their 2018 CT6. Super Cruise is like the self-driving Cruise in the first generation Tesla. However, Super Cruise has a facial recognition system that monitors the driver's eye positioning to ensure that the driver is maintaining eye contact with the road. If the facial recognition system detects that the driver is not looking at the road, the seat will vibrate, as well as visual alerts on the center screen alerting the driver to start looking at the road. If the driver still does not look at the road, the car will automatically apply the hazards and slowly pull off the road and stop. Currently, there are many car manufacturers, as well as a few technology companies in Google and Apple, who are working on fully self-driving cars. I have a video on the right side of the screen that will look at how Tesla's fully self-driving car operates. So as we can see, there are a few things to point out in the video. The screen in the middle of the car actually helps both the driver determine where they're going to go, as well as the car knowing which roads to take. And the other thing to point out was the speedometer that was just behind the wheel. If you had a chance to look at the speed limit signs, the car never went 1 mile over the speed limit at any point in time. So vast improvements have been made by Tesla in this technology. So with all technology comes potential problems. Those include the self-driving car's ability to respond to law enforcement commands, especially hand signals, especially when traffic lights go out. Law enforcement's there to direct traffic, and even when there are like concerts and things, law enforcement's directing traffic. Even when lights are red, they tell the car to go. Problem with manufacturers having is the ability for the car to respond to law enforcement. The unclear lane lines, that has been a big problem. If a self-driving car can't detect the lane lines, it's not going to be able to operate effectively. Many of the lane lines around the country are not painted well or have not been fully removed from previous construction. This is a major problem as the car does not know the difference between removed lines and the real lane lines. The left turns in high traffic areas is not a problem with a left turn light, but if there is not a left turn light, getting detection from the cars beyond the lane or the light a distance away is more difficult. There are many times we try to avoid an object in the road by driving out of our lane. A self-driving car is programmed to stay in their lane, so avoiding these objects has become a problem for manufacturers. As we know, driving changes based on weather. During snow and heavy rain, we slow down to avoid slippery roads. The Tesla is designed to see through heavy rain and fog, but is not programmed to change the way it drives based on the weather. So this has become a point that manufacturers are trying to correct. Just like any technology, cybersecurity is an issue. Making sure these systems are safe and cannot be easily hacked is one of the biggest concerns by all car manufacturers. So, legalization and impacts. Germany was the first country to fully legalize self-driving cars. However, this legislation had some provisions, including all cars had to have a steering wheel and pedals, as well as a passenger in the driver's seat. In the last month, executives from various car manufacturers, suppliers, and car technology developers sent a letter to Congress asking Congress to address current legal barriers for self-driving cars. The letter addressed issues such as clarifying current federal and state laws, as well as updating any motor vehicle laws to include sections about self-driving cars. The biggest reason manufacturers are pushing so hard to create a self-driving car is because of the safety impact it can have. Thousands of people die from car crashes every year. Manufacturers believe this number can become significantly reduced with the use of self-driving cars. Although there is a significant potential positive impact, self-driving cars could cost many people their jobs. There are roughly 13,000 taxis in New York City alone. If every taxi in New York City was replaced with a self-driving car, 13,000 people would have to find another line of work. So this has become an issue that people are trying to figure out what to do with. It's actually become a big ethical issue with self-driving cars. Another potential impact is the increase in pollution. So self-driving cars, if they're all powered by gas, and that's a big if because as Tesla has shown, not all cars are going to be powered by gas, then pollution levels could rise because self-driving cars can drive 24/7 if there's no need for a driver. Self-driving cars are not something for just the United States, however. In the U.S., though, Uber has tested self-driving service using sensors, and they did this in Pittsburgh. They've also done this in San Francisco. Daimler or Freightliner is the largest heavy-duty vehicle manufacturer in the U.S., and they have developed and begun testing a self-driving semi-truck. The only state that currently allows this testing on roads is Nevada. The truck can automatically drive itself on the highway, but needs a driver for the city. Daimler has stated that this technology will not be available until the middle of the next decade, so don't expect to see a self-driving semi-truck driving down next to you on the road. The United Kingdom has automated buses and delivery vans. The delivery vans have actually been used to deliver groceries. However, the van can actually only go 4 miles an hour, so it's not that much of a hazard for people. Singapore has automated its taxi service, while in Sweden, Volvo is testing a self-driving car that includes animal detection. The tests have been successful for the moose in Sweden, but when they went to Australia to test it, it failed to recognize the kangaroos. India decided that it was going to ban the use of automated vehicles due to the risk of unemployment in the country, just like the U.S. deciding or having the ethical issue of whether or not to use these self-driving cars, especially with the taxi services. India has gone ahead and just banned it completely and decided against the use of automated cars. So, thank you for listening. There's my appendix, and I look forward to reading and responding to your comments and questions.